Hello and welcome to Cooking with Sue. My name is Sue Morris and I'm a nurse educator at the New Brunswick Heart Center. Today is Sunday, my favorite day, because I turn into the sugar-free diva on Sunday. So I wanted to go over some diabetic recipes with you. I have struggled with diabetes for the last 15, probably 18 years of my life, and really couldn't manage my diabetes well until I kicked the sugar habit. So I have done a lot of research and I'd like to share some of that with you. So here is our menu for tonight. We are having a beet and goat cheese salad with a homemade lemon poppy seed dressing. We're also going to have fresh corn on the cob from New Brunswick. We're going to have roasted sweet potatoes. I'm making a chicken burger, but it's a little more refined chicken burger than one that you would take out of a freezer. And for dessert, we are having an apple Bavarian torte. So let's get started. I have my greens washed and dried for my salad. And so I have prepared all of my ingredients ahead of time. I have beets, grapes that I've cut in half, mandarin oranges, and I am just going to fill my bowl of greens with these delicious ingredients. If you would like to amp up your goat cheese salad just a bit, I have taken my goat cheese and I put it in the freezer for about, probably 20 minutes. And then I cut it, dipped it in an egg, and then smothered it in breadcrumbs. Just before I'm ready to serve, I will put this in the oven at 425 degrees and cook it for 5 to 7 minutes. It will be delicious laid on top of the salad. If you're not in the mood to do all of that prep, then just crinkle or crumple your goat cheese on top of your salad. It's equally delicious. So the next thing and I think I left it in the fridge. Just a moment. I did. Here's my homemade lemon poppy seed dressing. This is the easiest thing in the world. I use my magic bullet to make it. It is half a cup of buttermilk, half a cup of sour cream. Now this is my preference for sour cream. I know it's full fat, however, delicious. I put 3 tablespoons of Splenda, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 1 teaspoon of poppy seed. It's all ready and I will place that in the fridge. My salad is complete and I move on. Fresh corn on the cob. It's easiest if you get your husband or your kids to peel it outside. The mess is contained outside. But there's also an easier way. You can leave it in the husk, remove nothing, and put it in the microwave for between 4 and 6 minutes. When you take it out, you cut the end that has sort of what we refer to in New Brunswick as the handle. You cut that off and the hair and husk slide right off and your corn is ready to eat. So smother that in butter, and that shouldn't be what a cardiovascular nurse says. However, if you're going to choose to eat corn, you have to have real butter. So the next thing that I'm making is my sweet potatoes. And I choose sweet potatoes because they have a different glycemic index than starchy white potatoes. These take a lot longer for your body to break down. So I have peeled and diced, and I put them in some olive oil with some favorite herbs. I want to share with you my obsession with Epicure. So in my sweet potatoes, I have put some fresh garlic, but I have also added this called garlic and onion from Epicure. It's a dried spice, it's lovely. In addition, I also add this called 3 onion, and it just gives a very nice subtle flavor. Those will lay on a piece of parchment, go into the oven at 400 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. Those are easy, you can prep well ahead of time. Next, I'm making slaw. So my slaw is already done. I've just cut up some purple cabbage, some green cabbage, but I want to share this tip with you. This is probably the best coleslaw dressing that you can find. But when I read the back, it says that it's got a moderate amount of sugar. So I put half coleslaw dressing, half Greek yogurt. Can't taste a difference, but it just kind of cuts the sugar and a few calories out of what you're taking in. Next, I'm gonna make my chicken burgers. So I have made my chicken burgers already. I've taken buttermilk, and people think buttermilk, oh my goodness, it must not be a very healthy component. But when you look at buttermilk, the fat content is minute, very low. But it is a great marinade. It tenderizes. So I soak my chicken breasts in buttermilk for about an hour. And now I have taken them out. I have dipped them in cornflake crumb. And again, I use the onion and garlic. I also threw in some of the 3 onion spice. And those will go in the oven. They'll cook for 35 minutes at about 375. So I put my sweet potatoes in first. After about 15-20 minutes, then I will put my chicken burgers in. I would love to tell you that I made homemade bread today, but I haven't had time, so I will have to use a commercial grade bun, but that's okay. Just be careful when you're picking out the bun you're going to use. Most hamburger buns have 30 grams of carbohydrate, which is pretty significant for a diabetic having one component. So often what I will do is eat the bottom of the bun or the top of the bun to minimize or reduce my carbohydrate ingestion. And I will put a little bit of curry mayo, and sorry you can't see that well, but all it is Hellmann's mayonnaise with some curry powder put in. Tastes wonderful. If you're not a curry fan, you can also use sriracha, and that's quite delicious. And then for dessert, I think you can see over here, I have an apple Bavarian torte, which is a shortbread crust. In the middle is a cream cheese layer, but it has very small amount of sugar. On top, this brown component that you see is a brown sugar Splenda, and I use brown sugar Splenda quite a bit with some cinnamon. If you add spice, you will never notice that a dessert is not as sweet as it normally would have. In addition to this, I will top it off with some whipped cream, but in that whipped cream I've used a tablespoon of Splenda, but I've also added another Epicure obsession, and this is called chai spice. I put this in whipped creams, I put it in teas, I also threw it in the cheesecake of cheese component of that cake. So this is what we are having as a family supper. I have reduced the sugar significantly, and a couple of things I'd like to show you. For baking, Splenda is my favorite. It can be measured equal parts Splenda for equal parts sugar. What you will notice when you're cooking, in particular if you're cooking baking cookies, if you're using Splenda, your cookies will not flatten out like they do when you bake with sugar. But the taste is no different. The texture is a little bit different. People often say, oh, I bought that sugar in the raw. This is still refined sugar. There's no difference. Here is another type of sugar that I like to use. It has 4 grams of sugar per teaspoon. So remember, if you were going to use this, it would only be a small amount, but it has a nice flavor and it mimics sugar quite well. This one is probably my least favorite. So, like many nurses, many people in the world, I indulged or I dabbled in keto. I did say that it controlled my blood sugar, but the recommendation when you're on a keto diet is to use this sugar substitute. It's not my favorite. It feels very chemical, but used in small amounts, it doesn't have any carbohydrate components. So the nice thing about it is you're really minimizing your carbohydrate intake. So thank you for your time. Join me next time. We will be making a massaman curry, and I will show you how to reduce the sugar so that you can enjoy that without having an increase in serum glucose. Thanks, and have a great day.